So welcome all to this Tourbit Go Digital Skills webinar series. Our last webinar of the series is today. So this series has been organized within a European funded Tourbit project, and we have had so far 8 very nice webinars in the theme of digitalization in tourism, let's say broadly. And today's topic is AI and automation, which is our second part. We started this topic already last week. And here today we have Borgar from Iceland with us, who has a long experience in the field. And last week we started with some basics on this topic, and today we will then continue a bit further. And as usual, we have some 40 minutes or so for our presentation by Vinny, and then we will have some time for questions afterwards. So the floor is all yours, Vinny.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. So it's nice to see you again. So in this second part, or the second session, let me see. We will move on from like the basics. So last week we were talking about, AI, what is it and why does it matter? And today it is the now what. So what should we do now? And I will also give some perhaps inspiring examples, both examples on how your customers are likely to use this technology, and also how you can use this technology within your organizations. So it's like two types of use cases, really. And just a little bit again about myself. So those of you who did not attend last week, so I've been active in this business of data and algorithms and machine learning and statistics and AI for 25 years in different sectors. And currently I work at DataLab, which is a company I founded in 2016. We are a 10-person team now of experts in AI and data technology. So we are producing data-driven AI solutions using these 3 fields of expertise. So when creating solutions like I will be showing you later, you need expertise in data engineering to ensure the flow of data. It has to be automated, the flow of data, or preferably. You need expertise in AI and data science. It's about the algorithms that do smart things, solve ever more sophisticated tasks, as we will also talk about. And often you need to visualize your data and tell a good story based on the data. So this is DataLab and me. And I have never worked in tourism, but I have been a tourist, and I have had conversations with people from the tourism industry about AI and use of data. So I know a little bit about the ideas and requirements in this business. Just to review from last week, I gave you many generic examples of how it's possible to use this technology, like in ChatGPT or Gemini. It's like what is available to all of us. We can type in text and get some answers back. We can even upload images and get some feedback on them, or we can ask for images and we can create videos, etc. And we also know that the capability of this technology, generative AI, has grown very fast in a very few years. So in 5-6 years, it has gone from being a very basic, let's say, a car, if we could use that to understand how it has grown. So in 2018, it was like a basic 4T model, the first mass-produced car. We are upgraded to an 80s Volvo, and then a modern Mercedes, and the car of the future is already here in terms of how it has evolved, this technology. And we are only using GPT-4, but we can expect GPT-5 to appear later this year, and then maybe 6 and 7, and the capabilities will grow. So we know that this technology that we have in front of us, which is already quite useful, as I will show you, and its capabilities will grow. And this is all about, as I said, generative AI. And it's a little bit like electricity. It's a general purpose technology, and it will power many things. And what we are seeing appearing in front of our eyes is a new type of software. It has never existed before. It's a new category. This generative software has special qualities. So, and you can think of how, when you like interact with one of these Gen AI services like Gemini or ChatGPT, the AI understands the context and produces content or intelligence for you just the way you like it. It is not retrieving old information and showing you like the old type of software. It is generating new text or images, etc. So this is a new category. And for example, and let's like take an example from tourism. This is where we are heading very soon. So I am here in Rauðisandur in Iceland, and I am talking to an imagined service which has learned a lot about Iceland and its nature. So we're here. Tell me about the Rauðisandur in the Westfjords. You know, not more than don't do it in very many words. Why is the sand red? And explain it to me in a simple way. Don't go deep into the technical aspects of that. What are the most common bird species here? Show me pictures. Tell me about the popular hiking trails for families. So it will generate this intelligence on the spot. And then I could even say, show me these trails on the map in my smartphone. So it's transferring to the map. So here it's both an expert and it has some agency. And I will talk about this later in the presentation, what it means and the difference between being an expert and having agency. And this is actually like services like these will become available widely. So this is an article I found from February this year. So in Dublin, they are in partnership with OpenAI and a local AI agency. They are creating the service, which will help tourists and visitors in general to plan their day. So that's quite interesting. And as some of you who attended last week, I talked about being in Berlin at the time. I was attending a seminar there, so I did the presentation from Berlin, and I actually did create my own customized GPT on OpenAI. I called it Binny's Guide to Berlin, and this is what you can easily do within OpenAI. You can, if you have a paid subscription, you can create your own GPT. So I just create new GPT and I call it Binny's Guide to Berlin, and I say, hey, you are my only stop for up-to-date Berlin advice, specially curated around what I find interesting. And then I give it more instructions. You know most things worth knowing about Berlin. You know the history, the culture, the places, the things to do. You are Binny's personal guide to Berlin, Germany. And your advice reflects Binny's main interests these days, and I can list those. So it's like the usual stuff, and also say there, and of course AI. You also know where to find good food and relax with a German beer. And then I listed some websites which it can then access. This GPT has access to publicly available data and is powered by GPT-4. So it has not access to like internal data sets unless I like upload them in some way. So it's mainly using publicly available data. And I say, last Saturday, I had a free day. I was flying back on Sunday. So I asked it to create for me a plan for the day, starting around noon until perhaps 7 p.m. It should focus on the following areas of the city, 2 quarters or areas I have not visited before. I will be on foot, traveling on foot or on bicycle. What do you suggest? And it came back, you know, in 2 seconds, it came up with a plan. So start with a lunch in this place, and then you should go to the Contemporary Art Institute, KW, and some more. So it was a pretty good plan. So I just decided to follow it. So here's a picture of me at this art institute, and here is a picture of I was in the East Side Gallery. And what is yeah? So here you can see like how it works in practice. So what should I eat for dinner? Give me 3 local ideas. So as I'm in Berlin, it will tell me to try currywurst, Döner kebab, or Königsberger Klopse. And I ask it to show me a picture of number 3 because I don't know what it is. So it's now creating that picture. And let's see how this looks according to ChatGPT. Yes, quite interesting. And so I am no, sorry, this is not here I am. Yeah. So now yeah. Yes, so this is already here. This technology, which we could call the advisor, which is solving tasks for me at the speed of a computer, and it is amazing. I would say like I was really happy with the plan, and it's really good at giving me advice. So from previous so last week I said, you know, this technology, it compresses all knowledge on the internet into accessible and personalized nuggets. You have to ask about almost anything and get the answer right away. This is so true. And it actually sent me to an exhibition on AI. I didn't know this. So there was an exhibition at this art institute, KW, on AI. And it was really interesting. And I didn't have a clue when I like went there that it had an exhibition on AI, but Binny's Guide to Berlin knew about it. So it is interesting to ask yourself here, like, what did KW do right? Why did ChatGPT or Binny's Guide to Berlin recommend this institute? And so we can like further explore this and like think about like how do service providers win in this game? So it is, do the old rules apply, like when you are optimizing for Google search? I don't know. Probably, it's probably good to have very good information available on your website, because that's what Binny's Guide to Berlin is reading. And there is also this question of like who decides the rules? Is it the platforms, as has been the case? Or will it change now? And like whose interests is the advisor looking out for? Is it looking out for my interests, the platform's interests, the companies or the service providers who pay the platforms? So this is these are still open questions. And how much information do service providers share with the platform? So do you share more than you already do, or even less? I'm not sure, but it's very powerful, and it's definitely going to be very popular. So it's gonna. So Berlin might have its own Berlin guide available for all tourists, like Dublin is doing. But this one was also very powerful, I think. And it's just like one of these big questions in the industry. Are we all working for the platforms now? So it is already a fact that many tourism companies in tourism are quite reliant on the platforms. It's probably a love-hate relationships. The platforms collect all the data, but there is some benefit of using the platforms also. So there are signs that we will become even more reliant on the platforms unless something is changed. So there are definitely opportunities in this space to like get more business, to get more traffic to your destination, or get people to buy your services, but there are also challenges. So let's go to the next part of this presentation. So you may remember this slide from last week. I was talking about how Gen AI changes the game. It has mastered language, and there is we now have access to digital intelligence in the cloud. It has read the whole internet, and it's so accessible, and it produces text, code, images, sounds, etc. for us. And it does it very well, as we have seen. It is general purpose technology. It can do many things. And how are we actually using it? So there is some research out there, and you can just check out this article. The source is in the bottom left corner. But there is as it is general purpose technology, people are using it for so many different things. But you can see it's like technical assistance, to get some advice, to create content, for professional or personal support, for learning and education, creativity and recreation, and research and analysis. So these are all use cases that you are probably familiar with, and then it will become how we use it will then evolve, and I will show you some examples later on. So of course, images, it's always fun to play with those. So just to give you those of you who are just starting out, it is so easy to upload a picture and get something strange back. And you can also upload a picture and ask it to write something about the picture, like a poem or something. So the point here is that it's so easy to use this to create content. And here, actually, this is I'm still using Binny's Guide to Berlin. So I'm asking it because I took a picture of something I saw in Berlin, and I was quite intrigued. So I'm uploading that picture. What can we see in this picture? So it is telling me about this icon that is related to the old German Democratic Republic, DDR. So this is Sona? Yes, here it is. So, and again, I wanted to also iterate on this one. It all begins with words or images. At least this is a technology that is depending on our ability to think and use words, and we are really the limiting factor. So my message is just experiment within the limits of what you are allowed to do. So do not upload to GPT proprietary data or sensitive data, and but it's just you know, try it will probably surprise you most of the time how good it is. So that's my message. But then there is a question about the internal data. So in the previous examples, we are mainly, the intelligence that is being delivered to us is mainly about, like, based on external data. It's websites that are out there on the internet. It could be like companies' websites or you know, public websites, but it's data that is out there, and these Gen AI services have the ability, have access to and can read and learn. But each company has loads of internal data that is not available to these services, and we are of course interested in giving it the ability to use this data in some way. We are in fact interested in creating an expert advisor that can solve tasks for me at the speed of the computer, at work, in tourism. That's what we are interested in. It's not just about the public or the public data. How can we do this? And you know, expert advisor, not just an advisor, but an expert advisor. He knows my operations and my unique context from day to day. So he has somehow read my own internal data, and he understands, you know, the context, what it means, and it is like updated regularly. So that is completely different from the use case I was showing you. And it is possible to do this. It's if you zoom out, it is not more than 2 easy steps, but that is simplifying things a lot. So the 2 easy steps is like, okay, create the expert. I will describe that to you in a very simple way. We don't have space to dig very deep, and then you also have to, or you will probably want to give it agency, so it can do more things for you. So and these 2 steps that I just show you, it is almost like you are providing it, you are educating your expert, you are educating your software solution in your own operations, and you are giving it tools so it can do stuff for you. So if you only have educated, you can interact with it like you interact with ChatGPT. You can ask it questions, etc., and get answers back. But if you give it tools, like I will show you later on, then it can do much more for you. So about the first step to creating the expert who knows your operations and your unique context, there is I have listed here 4 steps, and this is of course a simplification, and there are several ways to do it. You can have a customized solution, and there are also appearing solutions providers who have like somewhat standardized this you know, the process of creating such a solution. So you have to define and source the expert knowledge. It is probably the text-based knowledge stored internally and on the web. So it's the text-based knowledge that you have access to at your workplace. And you will probably use infrastructure and services in the cloud on Azure or Google or AWS and whatever it's called, to store and automatically process the text. It has to be processed and stored in a certain way so the Gen AI services can use it. And then this infrastructure is also communicating with the large language models like GPT-4, etc. Then when you have set this up, you need to train your expert. You have to educate it. You have to let it read and learn, so it becomes an expert in your operations and your unique context. And then you have a front end, some kind of an interface, like I will show you here very soon. It's similar to ChatGPT, where you can use it and you can give it feedback. So you can you can like tell it whether the answers are good or not good, etc. So so this is a demo. It's in Icelandic because it's a solution that we have created up here in Iceland, but we call it Ari. It's an Icelandic name, but also it's also exists outside of Iceland. So Ari is your your domain expert. It becomes an expert in your operations. And in this example, it is, let me see. Yeah, I cannot make it larger, but it is answering quite complicated questions about what is allowed and what is not allowed. It has read Icelandic law and regulations, and it can answer simple and more advanced questions regarding municipalities in near perfect Icelandic. It could also answer questions in in English. So we have trained it to become an expert in municipalities. So this service will be used by local government all over Iceland to enable people who work there to like get answers to questions that they needed maybe lawyers to or like subject matter experts to answer. So this is like an example of an expert advisor. And just a few comments here about the technical, what is needed, the technical highlights. So it's a RAG system, which if you look it up, you will see retrieval augmented generation. So this is making sure that the answers, they're only based on the data that it has read. It cannot hallucinate and answer questions that are beyond what it has learned. So this is quite important if you want it to give you authoritative advice. It cannot hallucinate. And you need some custom ways to store the text data and process it so it can become an expert and understand domain-specific words and languages. So that's something to look out for. You would probably host it in the cloud on an Azure tenant in this case. So this is important if the data is sensitive. There are, of course, communications with the language models, but these are encrypted and the data is not used to train the models. And you are such a solution, you want to connect to your file stores where the text is stored. It can be SharePoint and Confluence and web pages, etc. And you need automatic data updates. So every time you change the text data, the answers will also change. So it's always using the most relevant, the fresh data or fresh information. And so once you have it up and running, you are probably interested in connecting it to other systems to make it even more useful. So more about that later. So with such an expert advisor, what could it do for you in tourism? And this is only like, I'm only scratching the surface, but an expert advisor that knows everything about your operations, like your services, your offerings, etc. It can answer simple and more complicated customer inquiries. For example, email inquiries and even like chat, act as a chatbot. But first, we would take the internal use case, and when we are completely happy with the expert advisor, we would give like the customers access to it. We can use it to create customized travel plans. So if you have like specific requirements, there is a group coming, 10, 20, 100 people, and they have a list of things they want to do, you can use such an advisor to create customized travel plans. It has already seen all your previous plans. It knows a lot about how you have done business before, so it can generate new ones. You can use it to enhance product development. You may have like different types of packages let's say you're a travel agency, so you can ask it to come up with new packages, maybe something you did not think of, and it's great at like training staff and to provide guidelines for staff in the field if something unexpected happens, etc. So these are just 4 examples of how it's possible to use such an expert advisor. Number 2, give it agency. So you have the expert advisor, it's there, it can handle text-to-text like use cases. You can ask it to create plans, you can ask it to answer questions and give advice, but you are interested in giving it agency. And this is what is new in 24 this year. So this is what we are working on now. And the whole world is like waiting for this to materialize. So it's coming for sure in the next 3 to 18 months as a mainstream thing. That's what I have been hearing. So what is it about giving it agency? As you may know, today we are using these Gen AI services in like what we call zero-shot mode. We prompt a model, a service, to generate a final output without revising its work. It's like I ask a question and the answer comes back, and that's it. But what's coming soon is what they call AI agent workflows, where the Gen AI service iterates over the process many times. And I will give you examples, types of agency, and you can see a source down there if you like to read more about it. So there are really 4 types. It's number 1 is reflection. So you can like build into the service that the LLM or the chatbot or the expert advisor, it examines its own work to come up with ways to improve it. So instead of you telling it to like, hey, can you improve this? Can you do something more? It will do it automatically in the process. So that's reflection. Tool use. So you can like give it tools so it can like gather information, take action, or process data. And I will talk more about that in the next slides. You can enable it to plan, so it can execute, like come up with and execute a multi-step plan to achieve a goal. So it can be like a more complex prompt from you. So this is also coming. And multi-agent collaboration, you can have different agents that are specialized. Just like we have, if you have a team, let's say a 10-person team, and you have 3 persons specialized in one field, 3 in another field, and 4 in the third field, you can have different like agents that are specialized. One is maybe specialized in gathering information from the internet. The second one is specialized in something else, etc. So this is what is coming, and it will make the expert advisor much more powerful. It can solve more tasks. So I just take number 3 now, the tool use is number 2 as an example. We can like already we can see like GPT and Gemini, etc. It can search the web, and I talked about this last week. So that would be that is what we call give it agency. It can search the web if you're asking for something. It can also interact with internal software and systems. For example, it could interact with your calendar or your email. That's an example of that. It can also interact with external services if you give it the right tools. Let's say last week I talked about this musician, and I have a list of its best songs, and I could ask, hey, can you create a playlist on Spotify which has his best songs? So this is number 3. That's an example of that. And it can execute code. So that's one way of using tools. And I will show you an example of this here. So let me see. So we have now, so I showed you Ari before, and it's an expert. It has read all the laws in this case that are relevant for the municipalities. But in this case here, it is actually, it has access to data about seafood, and it can now execute code. So we are asking here, how much cod did Norway export in 2023? And you can see that it generates an SQL command to get the answer from the database. So it answers it 155 something, and I say then, can you break this down by month in 23? So this is that. Add the values for 22 by month, and then calculate year-on-year percentage change. So it will explain how it understands you, and then it will create the code, and it's showing us the code so we can better trust the answers. So we can maybe we know a little bit about the data, so we can see if it's using the right columns, etc. So this is a quite complicated command, but it will do it easily. And so you see the table, and what we are working on now is to enable it to generate visuals, so it can like create a graph, and you can copy the graph and send it to your email, something like that. So this is an example of tool use. It's your expert executing code. And you may ask, like, what could such an expert advisor with agency do in tourism? So here are a few ideas. It could, if it can do web search, it can check the weather forecast or any website. So you can ask it to, like, maybe you have several competitors that you want to check on regularly. You can ask it to check on those like every day or every week or something, and tell you if something has changed, for example, or whatever it is. You can ask it to draft emails and store in a designated folder. So if you have the expert advisor and you receive a lot of emails, so instead of manually giving it the email, you can enable it to read all incoming emails, create a draft of that email, and then store it in a designated folder. So the only thing you need to do is to like go to that folder, read through the email, maybe edit a few things, and then send it. And you are probably like 10 times faster than previously. So this is one way you can like use. So it's using tools. It can interact with your internal software and systems. Number 3 was interacting with external services. It can probably, if you have that up and running, you can check third-party prices and book services. So maybe cars or rooms, etc. So this is something that you already do in a browser. So if you enable it with the right tools, you can like have the service do it for you. You just have to verify and accept, and then it's booked for you. And you can also, like, if it can execute code, you can, for example, ask it to calculate prices based on specific requirements. But for that, you have to store your pricing data in a table that is accessible to the tools. So it can like maybe ask for a price based on these requirements. It's 10 people, there are 3 children, and they are doing this and that, and yeah. So this is I think it's quite obvious how useful this is, and this is, as I say, coming to the market as a mainstream thing in the next 3 to 18 months, and we are already experimenting with it, as I showed you. So there are like quite many opportunities, as you can understand by seeing this. There's opportunities to automate repetitive tasks like answering emails or checking prices or checking stuff or booking, and but there are also challenges, and I want to just very shortly before we end talk about those. So there's a challenge with any new technology. So it's like keeping up with the evolving expectations of customers and employees. Where is the ball heading? So you you wanna bet on the right horse. So you are so this is like a challenge that you have to solve. What is it that will meet the customer expectations, for example? Where are they heading? The second challenge is the data. You can say that the AI is ready, but the data is not. So the AI is waiting for your data. And as I said before, an automated flow of quality data is needed. It is not sustainable to have to manually update like the expert advisor. It is okay to manually upload a single image if you want to create content, that's okay. But if you are like using your internal data, then you have to, it needs to be in shape. But that's maybe less of an issue than you may think. Just you have to think about it. And then, as you have seen, and you probably know, this new technology is very fond of rich text. So if you don't have a lot of text, then it's difficult for you to create the expert advisor. But if you have a lot of text about your operations, all kinds of documents that you use, guidelines, information about your services, general information about the destination, etc., then you are in a good spot. And then number 4, this is a new reality with agents working on our behalf. So we must be careful to we have to know what we are doing, what agents can do for us, how we can use them, but also what we are doing for them. So, for example, we don't want our competitors' agents to, hoover up all our data and use it to improve their own services, for example. So this is something we need to keep our eyes on this. But it's certain, coming to an end here, that this technology will spread very fast. It is digital. It is quite obvious to me how it can create value when we have tamed it. And competitive forces will push. So if most of your competitors are, or many of them are using this technology and it's working, then you somehow need to respond. So the adoption will be quite fast. So we are talking about like months, a few years, not like decades, and that's very interesting. It's there are challenges, as I talked about, but great opportunities. And I want to end then on this one. So if you look a little bit further ahead, so it's this field is, in my opinion, quite interesting, and on so many levels, on the technical level, also on the societal level. And so we have like 4 persons who are involved in this business. So Mr. Suleiman, he is an AI innovator, and he says the destiny of this technology has to be proliferation, and we have to confront that reality. We can't stick our heads in the sand. We have to start experimenting and use it, and realize how we can safely and sustainably use it. So including we have to set new laws and guardrails around how to use it. Another innovator, Andrew Ng, he is quite positive. He is certain that we need more intelligence in this world to avoid existential risk. We need this intelligence to solve our biggest problems, like climate change or something else. So it's just we need more intelligence, not less. So we need to go faster. One of the inventors of this technology, Jeffrey Hinton, he is quite he is thinking quite deeply about what he has actually created, and he is wondering like what will happen when we realize that we are not the most intelligent entities on this planet. So what will it do to us? And the historian, Mr. Harari, he has said this. So it's probably going to be the end of human-dominated history when we have more clever entities on this planet. We are not in charge anymore. So I'm not going to end on this. So you may have some questions. Like last time, you may probably ask a few questions now, and you can also send them on email. You have my email here, and you can also send to the people who are organizing this event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vinny. The last one was really eye-opening. So do we have any questions for Vinny at the moment? If the participants don't have at the moment, you can also put it to the chat if you like. But I actually started to wonder about the whole, like, because it's such a big issue, and as you said, it's super easy to create content with AI, and you can do all sorts of things. Would it be useful for a tourism company, for example, to create a plan, where are we going to use AI? What are we going to do ourselves? What would be like the optimal things that we should do, like for example, this year and so forth? Have you seen any of this kind of like plans?
Yes, it's a very good question. I could have talked a little bit about this. So like it is one thing you can do is to like map your tasks or your processes and try to like create a list of tasks where this technology could be useful. So, and the tasks where it's useful is tasks that you solve in a computer, like in a browser. There is some expertise required. It is repetitive. You are working with text, maybe like answering emails, for example, or checking stuff on the internet, gathering information. So you should create a list of those tasks, and maybe with some expert help or outside help if you don't have it inside the company. So once you have the list of maybe the top 5 or top 10 tasks that you would like to apply AI to, you should pick maybe 1, 2, or 3 and do like a proof of concept. So you should experiment before you invest a lot of time and money in one specific use case or 2 use cases. You should experiment in a very like short sprint, maybe 1 or 2 week sprint, where you are checking whether this is technically feasible and if it's possible. So that's one way to start. You probably know all about your tasks, and if you haven't got the expertise in AI, you may, you can, ask a consultant or something who has the expertise just to help you a little bit, and then you can decide on the next steps. Yes.
I think that's a good advice for us all. I think I will do that as well.
And it's also, you can also ask the AI, once you have a list of your tasks, you can say, ask the AI, hey, here is a list of the things I do. You can even create like a GPT, which is like, and you give it some instructions so it knows a little bit about your business and like who you are, etc. And then you give the list and say, hey, I am thinking of using generative AI in my operations. Here is a list of the things I do. what can you help me?
Okay.
And so this might actually be instead of using a consultant, you can just use ChatGPT. So you maybe pay $20-25 a month to be able to create that GPT, but it's probably far cheaper than using a consultant.
Yes, I suppose so. Yes. Okay, I don't see any other questions. But as said, you can also contact Penny by email or of course we have the Tourbit community where you can also post questions, and there is a lot of different content and different things in our website, so you can also browse that. But at this point, I thank you, Benny. It
Yes.
has been a blast
Very
to
good.
have you here. And thank you also for my technical support, Sari, and our team who have taken part in these webinars. So, and mostly thank you for all the participants that have actively participated these webinars. So I wish it will stop snowing in Lapland right about now, and I wish you all a very happy week.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.